Hello everyone, this is Sean Heidemann, designated broker of Position Realty. Today we're going to be discussing our Phoenix real estate market report for the month of March. But first of all, before we get started, due to everyone's concerns of what's going on or what's going to happen to our economy, we are going to take a macroeconomic perspective first. I'm going to be using some charts that I received from Marcus and Millicap to discuss the overall macroeconomy. So let's get started. As comparing the great financial crisis of 2007 by using the S&P index, the federal government's swift action to create the CARES Act may decrease the overall economic impact to our country from the coronavirus pandemic. Foreclosures spiked here in first quarter of 2008. But the first stimulus package was not offered until late second quarter of 2008, with a $106 billion infusion to the economy. This stimulus package wasn't enough to avoid the Lehman Brothers collapse and to prevent other lending institutions from collapsing. The federal government created the $700 billion TARP stimulus package in first quarter of 2008, down here. We didn't start to see signs of recovery until the federal government created the $832 billion Recovery and Reinvestment Act in third quarter of 2009. The real estate market in Phoenix didn't start to see signs of recovery until first quarter of 2011, but as you can see from the S&P 500, the economy started to recover shortly after the Recovery and Reinvestment Act. This right here is the current CARES Act stimulus package. As you can see, it's a $2.2 trillion package. Obviously, that amounts up to close to what the government issued in 2007. So instead of spreading it out over a period of time, they have issued this CARES Act immediately in the beginning of seeing signs of economic recession. And then they also issued just last week a new, they're adding more money to the CARES Act. So hopefully this government stimulus will not spiral our economy down into a financial crisis. Here's a historical overview of different economic crises that our country has experienced. 1973 OPEC oil crisis, that was 16 months. We lost 2.8 jobs and unemployment rose up to about 9%. There's a dot-com bust, 6.3% in unemployment. And then here's the financial crisis. It lasted 18 months. And we saw 10% unemployment, and the biggest hit to the retail sales overall from different economic downturns is 13% to the retail market. So obviously shortly after we saw a great increase in S&P, GDP, job growth, Iran, Iraq, other financial crises we came out of, and looks like we've done pretty well. This crisis is much different than the past economic downturns, but post-war coronavirus pandemic, our economy was the strongest it has ever been. As you can see from total employment from 2005-ish, and here's the economic downturn, and then we were at total employment of 2.8 million. Job openings and unemployment, has been way down, the lowest it has ever been in a very long time. And also job growth exceeded the unemployment rate, actually. So by looking at this, our economy was in a pretty good position post coronavirus, the pandemic. And then here's some consumer fundamentals. Monthly core retail sales, it was skyrocketing after the 2007 crisis. We're at approximately probably 380 billion. Median household income has been way up. So income for household income has been increasing since the 2007 financial crisis. And household debts as well is way down. So we're currently at 75% of GDP as far as household debt. So everyone pretty much got their house in order, and they're not over leveraged with debt, unlike what we were at near 100% of GDP near the 2007 financial crisis. So this economic downturn is much different. We were in a much better position than we were in the 2007 financial crisis. Here's another indicator, U.S. financial markets. U.S. bank reserves rose to 1.7 trillion in February of 2020. Corporate profits has been the highest it has ever been at approximately 2 trillion. So corporations have a lot of funds, a lot of money to go around, and then cash on hand here for the bank deposits. Bank deposits, cash on hand is way up. So this is another indicator that our economy was in a great financial position post the coronavirus pandemic. So hopefully with these fundamentals, our economy will not suffer as much, and possibly not as much at all. So let's get started with the local market report. The number of new listings increased 19.4% in March, from 9,507 listings in February to 11,350 listings in March. Last year, we experienced a similar amount of new listings coming on the market in March 2019 at 11,304 new listings. And in March 2018, we saw a similar amount of new listings at 11,559 new listings. Due to the swift action of our government by creating the CARES Act and a moratorium of foreclosures of government-backed mortgages, the number of new listings has not increased above historical trends. The number of active listings increased 8.5% in March, from 16,792 listings in February to 18,215 listings in March. This increase in the number of active listings is above our historical market trend, where in March 2019 the number of active listings decreased 1.9%. March 2018 it decreased 0.5%. March 2017 it decreased 1.6%. In March 2016 it increased 1.7%. Although the number of active listings increased significantly in March, the number of active listings on the market is still relatively low as compared to the number of active listings in March 2014 at 29,435 active listings. The number of sold transactions increased 18.6% in March, from 7,477 transactions in February to 8,869 transactions in March. A downward trend started before the coronavirus in May 2019 at 10,533 transactions, but although it may appear a new trend is forming after 2 months of increased transactions, the number of showings as given by showing time has decreased 43.5% as compared to showings in 2019. The next month, we could see a decrease in the number of sold transactions just based on this data. So this line here is 2019. This line here is our 2020. So we are the showings are way down. Average days on market started a downward trend since February of 2019 at 72 days on market to its current days on market at 55 days, or a decrease of 9.9%. With the increasing number of new listings and a decrease in active showings, we can expect to see the average days on market to increase. The Phoenix housing market ended 2019 exceeding the national average with an overall annual appreciation rate of approximately 10.4%. The average sold price increased in March 2020 to $378,256, or up 0.6% from February 2000. The sale to original list price, which is this one here, is approximately 98%, or an accepted price of 2% below the original asking price. The average sale to current list price is approximately 98.9%, or an accepted price of 1.1% below the asking price. Since May 2019, the months of inventory has hovered around 1.9 months on market, where it has fluctuated slightly, with the lowest at 1.7 and the highest at 2.29 months. In March 2020, we saw a slight decrease of 1.59 months, or a decrease of 13.6%. This decrease is not significant, where it still falls within the high and the low trend that formed in 2019. Overall, the number of new listings has not exceeded our historical trend. Active listings increased significantly, but the number of active listings is still relatively low. The number of showings is down significantly, so we can expect to see the number of sold transactions to decrease in the coming months unless buyers return to the market or they are still purchasing sight unseen. It's a good sign the housing market values increased in March. Therefore, there is no need to panic by putting homes on the market. Going forward, we can expect to see the number of active listings to increase, number of sold transactions to decrease, average days on market, and months of inventory to increase. But as long as these indicators stay relatively within the range of a healthy market, we will not experience a market crash. Thank you for watching our report, and hopefully it was beneficial to you. If you have any questions or concerns about the market, or if you are in need of buying or selling, please feel free to give us a call at 480-213-5251.